graph it. Number one, graph both equations. So there are two ways to graph, either by y equals mx plus b form or by standard form. If you've forgotten, go ahead and just look back in the previous videos. Y equals mx plus b form is really easy. What you need from that is you need to find this rise over run and the y-intercept. So you find the y-intercept, then you go rise over run. And if you forgot, just go back to that video. So from this one, graph both equations. That's what I'm going to do right now. So what's the y-intercept? The y-intercept is the number right here. So plus 3. So I'm going to go, this is the y-axis, 1, 2, 3. Put a point right there. Then I'm going to go rise over run. There's an invisible what here. If I wanted to make it a fraction, invisible 1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. Okay, then I'm going to join those two together. If you don't have a ruler, that's okay. You can use your school ID, and you want to just go ahead and join that.
This is a listening check. Underline the title.
All right, so it says graph both equations, right? So I'm going to graph this one. This one is also in y equals mx plus b form. So again, you start with the y-intercept, and then you go rise over run. So start with y, -2. So this is the y-axis. -2 is right here. You put a dot right there. And then I'm going to go rise over run. So I'm going to rise 3, run 2. So rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and then run to 1, 2. And that's where you put your point.
This is a listening check. Put a box around the number 1, just the number 1 by graph both equations.
If the graphs are the same, are these two graphs the same? Nope. Are they parallel, which means they never meet? So like this, like railway tracks? Nope, they're not parallel. Or if they intersect, so they do intersect, which means they cross over just like that. The point they intersect is your solution xy. So if I find what this is and what that is, that's my solution. So what's that? That's 2 and 1. So my solution in xy is 2, 1. The final step says, is xy a solution? This is a question that they like asking a lot, so I want to do it in every video. All you have to do is plug your answer into both equations. Okay, so this is my answer. I'm going to plug it into both equations. So what I'm going to do is just write down the equations. But where I see an x, I'm put 2. Where I see a y, I'm going to put 1. So the first equation, I got 1 equals -x, and anytime I'm substituting in, just put a parenthesis, x is 2 plus 3. So I'm going to check that. The second equation, I'm going to do this at the same time. Second equation starts off with y, which is 1, equals 3 over 2, and then x, that's x is 2, minus 2. And if both of these work, then it is a solution. So 1 equals -2 plus 3. Negatives are meeting positives. Positives are going to win by 1. Is 1 equal to 1? Yes. So is it a solution? You have to find it in both. Then I do this one. All right, so remember, if I'm multiplying a fraction, I can just extend the line right here. And if I have the same number on top as I do on the bottom, what can I do? I can cross it out. So this is going to be 1 equals, and then 3, and then now minus 2. What's 3 minus 2? 1. So 1 equals 1. Is that true? Yes. So I know that this is a solution, okay? And I've checked to make sure that it is a solution by plugging it in. And yes, so I did this correctly. This is how you check your work. All right, example 2, graph both equations. So again, is it in y equals mx plus b form? Yes, it is. So then I'm going to start with y-intercept and then do rise over run. Y-intercept is 3, so y-intercept is 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do rise over run. Remember, if there's nothing here, you just need to put invisible ones. So I'm going to rise 1 and run 1. So I'm going to rise 1 and run 1.
This is a listening check. Color in the +3 that has a red circle around it.
Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing for both the second equation. So here's the thing. The second equation is not y equals mx plus b right now, right? Which means that it's probably in standard form. So standard form is you need to see the x and y intercepts if you forgot how to do it. But all you do is you cover it up. So if I cover this up and solve for y, I get it intersects at y equals 3. So it intersects right there. and then I cover this one up and solve for x, but I'm going to get a fraction. So because I'm going to get a fraction, I have to then put y equals mx plus b. So how do I make this into y mx plus b? Easy. Just move this across the river. Then it'll leave y on the side. So I move that across the river. I'm going to have y equals, when I move it across the river, it's going to change from positive to what? Negative. So negative 2x minus 3. And now it's in y equals mx plus b. What's my y-intercept and rise over run? Y-intercept is negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, negative 3. And then I'm going to rise and run, so make it a fraction by putting it over 1. So I'm going to go down 2, right 1. So down 2, 1, 2, right 1.
This is a listening check. Color in the -3 in the green circle.
So I've graphed both equations. If the graphs are the same, are they the same? No. Are they parallel? Which means they never meet? No. Do they intersect? Yes, they do. They intersect at this point right here, where they cross over. That point is the solution. So you just find your x and your y. So my x is -2 and my y is 1. So my solution here is -2 and my y is 1. Then I'm going to check if it is a solution. Okay, so to check if it's a solution, plug your answer into both equations. All right, so this is my x, this is my y. So you're just going to plug it into the equation. So it goes y, which is what? 1 equals x, -2, plus 3. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. X is -2, so it goes 2. X is -2 plus, what's y? Y is 1 equals -3. Okay, then I'm just going to check those. So 1 equals -2 plus 3. So negatives are meeting positives. Who's going to win? Positives going to win because I have more people than negatives. By how many? 1. So this one works. Now I'm going to check this one. 2 times -2, a negative times a positive. Okay, so if you forgot, a negative times a positive, is that good or bad? That's bad. So that's going to give me a negative. So it's going to be negative. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 equals -3. All right, so I've got negatives meeting positives. Who's going to win? Negatives by how many? By 3. And is that right? Yes, it is. That means that this is a solution to this system of equations. Okay.
To be continued.